What's up everybody? We are over here at the Fixer Upper and today we are going to be swapping out the water main. About a month ago when Daddy Bonz was demoing the half bath down here on the lower level of this house, we noticed that there was a nail driven through the water main. So today we are going to work on replacing that water main. Currently it's copper and we're gonna go ahead and convert it to PEX. So let's get to it. All right, first things first, I need to go ahead and cut out this existing water line. I have the water main shut off externally, so there should be no water up in this whole entire run right here. There might be, considering I see a little bit of water right here. All the water supply is shut off, so we shouldn't have any issues with that. With this being a close quarters area, I have one of these close quarter tube cutters. What I want to do is go ahead and cut right below where this main shut off is right here, and then I'll also make a cut over here and right here.
No. Pretty Caroline, stone cold stunner. She was a winner, started working at the diner.
Man, I was hoping this was gonna be a really quick process, but looking at this pipe right here feeding up into this water main shutoff, someone was not having a good day because they beat the living snot out of it. This pipe is oblong, so I can't keep this cutter on it. I need to run to the store real quick and go buy one of those automatic pipe cutters. We are back and I have this sweet Milwaukee copper tubing cutter right here. This thing is pretty sweet. All you have to do is go ahead, slide it on there, switch over the position, pull the trigger, and it cuts the tube for you. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and make these cuts real quick, especially with this oblong one. Hopefully it works. We'll go ahead and see. After fighting this for a little while, I was finally able to get the shutoff valve cut out of here. This thing is a pain in the butt, and that is because the pipe is out of round. There's a little bit of oval here, so we need to go ahead and address the pipe being out of round before we can go ahead and install our compression fitting. So a quick way to fix this is by using one of these wrenches right here. It has an adjustable slide, so what we're gonna do is go ahead, get it set real quick, and then we'll take it and run it around the outer perimeter of this, and it will go ahead and make it so that the pipe comes back into round. Let's get that knocked out.
Yeah, no, don't you think you're better off with the neighbors?
With our pipe now re-rounded using our crescent wrench, we are good to go. So to be able to do this conversion from the copper pipe over into this 1-inch PEX pipe, we're gonna be using one of these push-on connectors. This is a coupler 1 to 1 inch. These things are really nice because you don't have to deal with any soldering. They're super easy to use. Literally all you have to do is go ahead and push it onto the copper pipe and then enter in your PEX pipe, and boom, just like that, you're connected and good to go. But before we can go ahead and install this, there's a couple of things that we need to do. First, we need to go ahead and remove any burrs that we have from using the cutter on this pipe. So we're going to be using this inside-outside reamer. What you do is you just feed it right onto the pipe, go ahead, turn it around a couple of times, you know, about 5-6 turns. That'll take off any of the burrs, flip it over, then you can go ahead and chamfer it to the outside, turn it 5 or 6 times. Then after that, we need to go ahead and clean up the pipe. To do that, we're just going to be using these Scotch-Brites right here. As you can see with this old piping, it's pretty darn dirty, so you just take one of these pieces of Scotch-Brite, run it around the outside, turn it until you get it so that it looks like it's nice and shiny new copper, just like that. Look at that, it's so much cleaner. So we'll go ahead and do that for this pipe, get rid of any of that grime, because if you don't, what will happen is that these O-rings won't make a perfect seal and you can potentially have a leak. So you want to make sure that your pipe is properly prepped before using one of these. And now that our pipe is nice and clean, we're gonna go ahead and take this sweet little gauge. It's a coupling gauge made just to make sure that this goes on the correct distance for whatever diameter of pipe that we're gonna be using. So we wanna take this, make a mark, and then that way we can ensure that the coupling gets put on all the way and is secure. There, cool. Perfect. We have our little mark. There's nothing else we need to do to this. We're just gonna fit this right over the top like that. Push it down all the way. That's nice and tight. And as you can see, I'm pulling on this with full force and it is not coming up. So that is a good sign right there. We want that. So now we can go ahead and make the cuts for our PEX real quick and put in our PEX connection. To be able to go ahead and cut this PEX, I just have this handy dandy PEX cutting tool. These things are only like 20 bucks over at Home Depot. We just want to go ahead and cut off a piece of this. Sometimes people have a habit of getting the PEX out of round. So one way to prevent that is to go ahead, we'll secure this on, but as you are cutting, just simply twist it. That way, you don't get out of round and it makes a nice clean cut. Just like that. So with our piece of PEX now cut, we can go ahead and install this onto that coupler. In the past, when using PEX, when you would install it to a coupling, you would have had to use a stiffening ring on the inside of this, but now all of the couplers are built with that stiffening ring on the inside, so you no longer have to worry about it. And then to secure it on the outside, there's an O-ring that makes sure that no water escapes. Once again, I need to go ahead and use my gauge and make a mark on the pipe so I make sure that it is seated all the way onto the coupler. With our piece of PEX now installed onto the coupler, I need to go ahead and cut this down to the proper size and install our 90-degree elbow. Both PEX systems are super simple, and I know a lot of plumbers tend to run PEX A versus PEX B. Here, we're just working with PEX B just because I had the tools for it, so I don't want to go out and spend a lot more money getting a different system. So we'll take this, slide it on there, then we can take our fitting, put our fitting on the inside diameter here. We'll go ahead, take this ring up here. As you see, there's a few barbs just right here on the outside of it. We want to bring this down just about 1/8 of an inch. Then we take this fancy little crimp tool right here, open it up, put it on the outside diameter of that ring, and then we can go ahead and crimp our fitting on. Then we take off our tool, and as you can see here, our fitting is going nowhere. So that's what you want. You want a nice and secure fitting on there. With our fitting now on here, I need to go ahead and install our coupler onto this pipe right here, convert it over to PEX, put in a ball valve, and then connect the whole entire system back together. Take our inside outside reamer.
Never giving up unless it's real. Slippery slope.
Already got our piece of PEX all marked up for how far it needs to go into the coupler, so we'll go ahead and shove this piece in. Make sure that this ring is inside of here. So with our piece of PEX now installed, I can install this super sweet T-fitting. This has two 1-inch fittings and reduces down to a 1/2 inch. When I cut out my water main here, I lost the cold water connection for the laundry right here. We'll need that still. So this will allow us to go ahead and run PEX back over to that water line right there. So we'll take our little crimp ring, slide it onto the PEX here.
It's not enough to please your pretty camera.
We got our pipe now. We'll go ahead, slide on our fittings so we don't forget, and install that valve.
Stone cold stunner. She was a winner, started working at the dime.
All right, to do the pressure test, I went ahead and called my old man. That way he can turn on the water main from outside and we can see if this thing is leaking at all. Just in case it is leaking, I just want to be in here so we can have that communication back and forth that he can turn off the water if for some reason there's something wrong, but fingers crossed, there's nothing wrong. Let's go ahead and pressure test it. Oh! I'm letting it out. We're not leaking. Let's go. All right, we got the pressure test all done. So this plumbing is all wrapped up. That's good news. We got pressure back to the house. So I need to go ahead and finish plumbing up some of these other fixtures, but we'll be doing that tomorrow. So I'll see you guys later. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow along with this project or any of the other cool ones we have going on, be sure to subscribe to the channel and I'll catch you on the next one.